Excellent. And we are backstage right now with getting ready for AbilityMKE Now on River West Radio. And I think I've got all my pieces in place here. So about 15 seconds and we'll be rolling in. And Emily, can you do spotlighting too?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm starting my things here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own or with the people we know. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and we celebrate the ability in all of us. Tonight, we have a wonderful guest joining us for the first time, and I am very excited to have a chance to have a conversation with him and get to know him a little better here. But first, I'm going to bring Emily Gulmer in to do our introductions. So Emily, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. So this person that is here tonight, we met through the Happy Neighborhood Project, and with his organization, Safe Money Solutions. And so I'm gonna bring him on here so Jason, if you wanna come on here to briefly say who you are, what you do.
Thank you, Sue and Emily, for the introduction. So I have a business called Safe Money Solutions. And we have about 750 advisors across the country, about 3,500 clients in 46 states and 3 countries. And what we do is we help give back to the communities that we serve. And of course, namely, the focus tonight is about how we do that with nonprofits. And we help vets and seniors and all kinds of people, business owners, save in interest costs and taxes and financing, all kinds of that kinds of thing. And of these people that we've helped, about 300 of them so far have been nonprofits, but we've reopened the program back up. We used to deal mostly with churches, but now all nonprofits, because in these tough times we find ourselves in, we've found that it's probably advantageous to open it up to a wide array of verticals. And so, yeah, I'm based out of Idaho here. We've got, like I say, we've got clients in 46 states, and we help in basically all things money and insurance.
Excellent, because there's so many pieces of that it's hard to be an expert on all of that. And when people have their passion in the nonprofit world, to actually have that passion and have the knowledge that you guys are able to provide, that is a huge piece. That, I mean, like me personally, I don't have the expertise in the insurance and in the finances and all that. I rely on people like you to help, who know all about those pieces. So I'm so glad to have you here that you can share more about this. So tell us a little bit more about the program.
Okay, well, basically how we help nonprofits in general is a great question, because we help nonprofits in 2 ways. First, we help their members save. In doing that, we donate up to $500 per member who completes our program. And in so many instances, we're donating $5,000. $10,000, even $15,000 at a time back to the nonprofit. So it's kind of a dual win-win.
That's amazing. I would love to know more about that. That sounds like a great program. So now, with the nonprofit, how does what you do help the nonprofit and the attendee?
Okay, so it's pretty tough out there right now,
right?
And so this double win-win. First, we make the donation to the nonprofit, and second, by the fact that their members now have more money to give back to the nonprofit. So let me give you an example. If, say, we have a church somewhere and their collection plate donations are dwindling because people's interest rates have went up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 12%. And the cost of a loaf of bread went from 99 cents to $1.99 to $2.99. And gas went from $2 to $4 or $5 a gallon. People are giving less. And so by us being able to help them have more money left, not only to give back and support their nonprofit, those savings we create, Sue, that allows us to give a donation of up to $500 per member that goes through the program back to the nonprofit.
Wow, that is impressive, because that makes such a difference, and on multiple levels. So now, how does your firm actually create these funds that you're able to donate like this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So our donations come from the savings that we create. Like I was mentioning, we save our average person, believe it or not, up to 130. Well, it's an average of $130,000 per case. And we give them back about $2,000 a month in newfound cash flow. You heard that right. That's that amazing. And so
Wow.
this practically self-funded program is so amazing how it creates funds that were ordinarily being already sent to banks and bill collectors.
Wow. Okay, so with somebody who's just starting out with a nonprofit, what kind of advice would you be giving them?
That's a good question, Sue. Oftentimes I find that people start out with loans, or they'll go crowdfunding, or they'll do a GoFundMe, right? But if they visit our website, they can actually book a call with one of our trained advisors where they can learn a way not only we could help provide donations through the program we're talking about back to their new fledgling nonprofit, but we can help them attract new members by the value that this wonderful program creates.
I love that. So now I'm actually curious, do you have any stories of groups that you've worked with that stand out in your mind? Do you mostly work with groups that are local to you, or are you personally able to help beyond the Idaho area? Because I know you said you've got representatives far and wide, but how does that work in your corner?
I'm so glad you asked that. So we have clients so far in 46 states. We're not limited to those 46. We also have clients in 3 different countries so far. Anyone, anywhere in the world, if they can speak English, I don't know how to translate, we can help them. And what's so cool about it is, to give you an example, is the one that comes to mind now that you ask is a pastor named Ron in Mississippi. When he came to us, he was 68 years old, and he had 28 years left to pay on his current mortgage that he had recently refinanced. When his wife's health took a decline, he tapped into the equity of his house to pay off some doctor bills. Well, he had a very expensive truck payment. And like I mentioned, his wife having the more expensive medical bills really escalating. The problem was he really didn't have any cash flow left at the end of the month. So any emergencies that Ron and his wife had were unfortunately going on the credit cards. Well, this was becoming an escalating problem since he was the leader of his group and he needed to keep his motivation high, Sue, so that he would have something to give. He would come home on Sundays after exhorting in his podium with just exhaustion because he had to put back his own stress and the things going on in his own life to have something to give. And if you've ever done that, you know how hard that is. You're a mom, right?
Right.
So you've done that. So, after things worked out for him and telling him that we could have him debt free in as little as 4 years and 2 months, oh my word, he started bawling. He hit the fan emotionally. The stress that was so pent up in him, I can't tell you, the look in his face, the tears running off his chin, he absolutely broke down. And he couldn't believe that there was such hope and that we were going to be able to save him over 230 grand in interest and give him back $4,200 a month. And so now if there was an event where he had an issue, he had cash flow to take care of it. It felt like a miracle to him. And what did he do? He referred us to everybody he knew and many, many people in his nonprofit organization.
Wow, that's amazing. And I gotta tell you, you piqued my interest. I'm definitely wanting to dig in and hear more and learn more, because everybody has it has those moments where it's like, okay, where do I go? How do I make this work? And there are programs out there. There's help to figure these things out. And I'm very intrigued with what you're sharing. This is amazing. So now I'm curious then, what kind of resources that you may have for other ways. Now, because with groups, when they're raising original capital, what kind of resources do you have for that?
You bet. So for nonprofits, I would direct them to go to our website. And I don't know if you want me to give that or not. But
yeah, actually, if you could tell us what your website is, that would be
okay.
lovely.
So this one's kind of long. I don't have a bit.ly link for it yet, but right now, because it's got to be customized for each nonprofit, but they can see what the framework of it looks like. There's a website that says go, like go or stop, so go.yoursafemoneysolution, singular, yoursafemoneysolution.com, and then a /, and all it says right now is church and then a hyphen name, because like I said before, we were just helping churches. Now we're helping all nonprofits. So if they go to this go.yoursafemoneysolution.com / church name, which you could put that in your notes anywhere people are viewing this as a recording, what they'll see there is a full showcase of our program. It'll include a 2-minute video that they can see how they can benefit from this, including their members. And once a nonprofit comes on board with us, Sue, that landing page will then be customized with not only their logo, but also it'll be part of the URL. That back portion, that / will say, for instance, Project Die Hard or whoever it might be that is looking to come on board. And then their members will be able to review the information and go right to a bit.ly link or a QR code that's scannable with their phone and register for the program right there after seeing if it looks like it's right for them.
Oh, so I love this because it sounds super easy. You got all the information right there, and then to be able to get yourself rolling in with the program. I love this. This is great. So actually, for you personally, how long have you been doing this?
I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I've had this business right here for 11 since 2012.
Oh, excellent. How did you get started in this?
You know, this is really interesting. So I did all things insurance before, and a lot of advanced planning, helping people save on taxes, helping people not only save and create cash, but be able to keep it and then pass it on without giving a pile of it to the Internal Revenue Service.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my loves was woodworking. I love going out in my shop and taking plain boards, making sawdust in one pile and making a beautiful piece of furniture with the other. And so I had a cabinet shop, and I had as many as 5 people working for me at one time. Well, in August 14th of 2015, the Clearwater Complex fires here in Idaho had 14 lightning strikes that burnt together in one inferno after, like, I want to say 100 days with no rain. It took out 150 outbuildings and 75 homes across 85,000 acres. 6 of those buildings were mine, and one of them was my beautiful cabinet shop and all my equipment. So I lost a substantial cash flow that day. And so when I called my bank to ask them if I could have some capital, they are like, you don't have really the ability to pay that back too much, because my insurance business was only 2 days a week, and it was making 1/3 the amount that shop was making. So I found myself between a rock and a hard place, and I started using up my resources. And when that was getting thin, since it took a year to get my insurance money and rebuild, my business was out of commission for a year and a half. So I had to focus on this business. Well, first I had to focus on my finances. So I started thinking about banking and how that I'm not able to even redraw funds, extra funds that I'd put on my mortgage. And I thought, I need to be able to redraw funds, and I need to be able to do this, and I need to be able to do that. And when I've come across some certain things online, like velocity banking and infinite banking, I came up with a strategy to weld these strategies together. I found an award-winning software to kind of keep it all managed, because those strategies exist, but they're extremely hard to manage. I figured out a way to put an automatic transmission to it that was fantastic and take my 14 years left on my mortgage out in 30 months. And then my wife's like, well, when are you going to start sharing this? People want to know what we're doing. And then I realized, you know what, maybe I should teach this, or I could teach this. And it became the silver bullet. So what I thought the good Lord gave me to help just me, he gave for me to help other people. And now you know the heart of everything that I do here at Safe Money Solutions. I want to give back. And that's why we're talking about how we help nonprofits.
Wow. Oh, What I'm so sad to hear about the tragedy of what all happened through the fire and with losing all that. But they always say, you hear that phrase all the time about where one door closes, somewhere God opens a window. And it sounds like this was where you were meant to go. And as much as that, I can't even imagine what it was like to go through all of that for so long with trying to get back on your feet and get all those pieces back together, that this ends up being at least a piece of that outcome. I'm so happy to hear that this is where you've gone with this. And it really sounds like
you want to
go
know the
ahead.
amazing part?
What's that?
I live 38 miles from a stoplight, 68 miles from a Walmart, and 3 hours from an airport. We only had 500 clients in all the years the business was in existence since 2012. And within 22 months, we helped 1,500 people with this. It went viral. It was about $3.5 million worth of business. My right leg swelled up larger than my left leg just trying to help everybody.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
That's when you know you're doing things right, when it's making an impact on that many people and it is the right thing. Oh my gosh, it was meant to be. So that is amazing.
Yeah,
And
we love it.
with the different groups that you've worked with, I know you work with a lot of nonprofits, and it sounds like it's been over time quite a few churches. Are there any, maybe the answer is no at this point, but are there any groups that are kind of a disability focus, are like, whether it be, I actually, there's a lot of different groups out there. I'm thinking, my mind's going to all these different organizations that we're closely related with, that I'm wondering what this would be for them, and curious too if you've had that opportunity yet to work with some of these nonprofits that do have the disability focus.
You know, if I have, it's not coming to mind, but I'm telling you, we've opened this back up during times like this because of the economic pressure that everybody's under. So
Right.
I'm really looking forward, through my relationship, Sue, with you and your husband, Kurt, and maybe Project Die Hard and some of these others that are coming on board, that's exactly what we can do. Because the fact that I didn't sell out to the banks when they wanted me to sell my strategy and retire or go work for them, and the fact that I now realize that I'm teaching this for others, not just using it myself, and that it's helped so many nonprofits, spurs my desire to be able to give back and help more people like what you're mentioning. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. I'm very excited for that. Now, and I'm actually curious too, any literature or book or workshop or any other kind of resources that you have available if people are looking for more information? I know you mentioned the website. Are there other resources that are out there?
Yeah, you bet. So, the nonprofits can go to the website that I listed earlier. We also have our regular landing page, just yoursafemoneysolution.com. And there's actually a free report on there that people can download. But they're able to also review our presentation. They can also review that 2-minute video on the nonprofit page. And then, of course, once people do become members of Safe Money Solutions or clients, we have our masterclass and we have booklets. And I'm completing my book, What Your Banker Doesn't Want You to Know, which will be published, I would suppose, by the end of the year.
Okay, that's very intriguing. What your banker doesn't want you to know. Because, that is one of those things. When you see new large buildings going up, so many of those are banks. How do they have the money to do that? Well, they have your money. They have been making money all day long, all night long, all the time, because they understand how money works. And often the average Joe doesn't understand exactly how it works and are relying on those big banks to give them their advice, which may or may not be in the person's entire best interest, because of course they're a business themselves. The bank wants to make money and they are good at it.
Yeah, they offer us a free checking like it's a favor. Well, guess what? If you left $3,000 in your checking or savings last night, congratulations, you just gave your bank a free loan.
Exactly.
We teach you how to stop doing that and get a rate of return where you can make $50 or $100 or even $200 interest on that same money. If you dropped a $20 bill, you'd pick it up, right?
Got that right.
So change how you bank, and it changes your life. And that's the message we want to get out there.
So now you mentioned a master course that you offer. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
That master class is geared toward people that want to build wealth, people that when they realize how much they're saving and how fast they're getting out of debt, they want to take these tools and put money away that's tax-free. Because not only do we teach them how to save it and how to accumulate it and create it, we teach them how to keep it and then how to pass it on without having to share a pile of that money with the Internal Revenue Service. Now, here at Safe Money Solutions, everything we do is legal and ethical, but I'm into paying my taxes, but only my fair share. So the last thing a business owner wants to do is build their business up all awesome. And then when he creates a succession plan and sells it or gives it to his nephew, there's a pile of taxes due because he sold it. We show people how to avoid that with special programs. And our masterclass covers everything I just mentioned.
I am very intrigued because I know we've all, I mean, I'm 51 years old. So in my lifetime, the number of people who have come up along the way and said, hey, you got to see this. Hey, you got to see this. Hey, we got the best. Oh my gosh. If you don't understand how your finances should be here and there, there's a lot of different people who think they know more than the next guy, but it may or may not be really a proven way to go. There's lots of options out there. And what I'm hearing from you is that you have put together these pieces that you've got stories of how people have gotten themselves out of debt in an extremely reduced amount of time and are putting themselves in such a better financial position for their life. That's exciting. That's something that speaks to everybody.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of ways to put dirt in a box. You can use a shovel. You can use backhoe. It's a lot faster. When backhoes and dynamite came out, people were amazed. If you could go back to 1700 and show people a repeating hunting rifle to fulfill their meat needs for their family, they'd be like, wow, right? Well, what I'm here to talk about is something nobody else is doing. Everybody wants a piece of your money, Sue, after you've paid your bills. They want to tell you how to invest, buy crypto, buy this stock, buy that investment, invest in this and that. I'm here to tell you, what are you doing with your seed money when you first get it? The way you're putting it in the bank. Nobody's challenging the banks on checking and savings accounts. And I'm here to tell you, if you change how you bank, it multiplies your seed money. You've heard the story about Dick and Jane, who both started investing, but Dick waited 10 years. And when they both hit 65, Dick could never even catch up, even though he put in twice as much money in the beginning as Jane because she started early. And when you change your seed money or how you're depositing, it changes everything. So we are banking educators at our core.
The kind of stuff I wish the components of what you just said, I wish that was taught in school.
Yeah.
There's never anything that really hits those pieces. I remember when I was in high school, at some point in time, I was taught how to write a check. What's the format? How do you actually do this? But as far as strategy and understanding all of this, I don't remember that. That was not really a piece. You learn the hard way usually, and you lose a lot.
Yep. Yeah, well, we've had a couple others like Rudy,
yes,
who are in the financial thing too, who say wish that they were taught stuff in school that it's not this whole finance thing isn't taught in schools, and that it should be in that kind of thing. So
yeah, it should be a bigger priority because like you're saying, Jason, when kids are, or when organizations are at their infancy, if they do the right things early on, that makes a massive difference later on. Same thing works for, as somebody is getting their first job and they're taught right away what to do with their money as they're earning it, that will set them up for a lifetime of success as well.
You bet. And it's never too late to learn, Sue. I mean, if you go to a tribe somewhere that's cut off from the rest of the world and they're just about got this huge pit filled and they're using shovels to do it, and all of a sudden you bring this backhoe on the scene, even though they've been at it for centuries, it's never too late to get that backhoe. And we're here to show people there's a better way to do it than what we were taught. And I want to end the conversation by saying a joke, if you don't mind. That
would be great.
So a preacher went to a woman's house for dinner, She cooked a beautiful ham, but she kind of looked over her shoulder. She didn't think he was looking. She cut the shank off the ham and slid it into the trash. And after dinner, the preacher said to the woman, Sister Cunningham, you know, I noticed you cut the shank off that ham and throw it in the trash when you prepared it. Can you please tell me why you did that? The shank is a beautiful piece of meat for beans. And she's like, well, Pastor, my mom taught me. I really don't know. That's how I was taught. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, is your mom still alive? She said, oh, yeah, she's across town in the care center. Her name's Josephine. So he goes across town, meets with her at her permission. And she comes out. He said, I've got your daughter as a member in my church. All I want to tell you is she had me for a beautiful ham dinner. Great job teaching her. But I have one question. Why did you teach her to cut the shank off the ham and throw it away? And she said, oh, preacher, I don't know that silly girl. I grew up in the Depression and my oven was really small. So you've got to realize that sometimes your limiting beliefs are because you think it's the right thing to do. But I'm here to tell you, if you're putting $100,000 a year in your checking, congratulations, you just gave your bank $1 million in 10 years. And the average checking and savings didn't even pay you $1,000 in interest on that $1 million. And you could have turned it to 2 million with one small change.
Well, it's all a matter of what you know and what you've learned along the way. And sometimes, like like what you're saying with that ham example, sometimes you don't even know why you're doing things a certain way. It's just, that's how we've always done it. That's
There you
gotta
go.
be the
That's
right
why
way,
I told
right?
the joke. It explains it well.
It really does. I love that. So I'm gonna switch gears on you a little bit here, because sometimes in our on our shows it is ice cream Sunday night. So I'm gonna ask you a very personal question. What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
If I had to pick one, give me my coffee almond fudge.
Ooh.
That sounds good.
You know, and I'm on the opposite end, because actually coffee, I love the smell of coffee, but as far as an ice cream flavor, I have not actually gotten to get to the taste of that to where it's like that. See, I'm more of the put the Oreos and cookie dough into my ice cream. That's more my realm.
You know, I guess if I was in a world where you couldn't ever get any other flavor, I probably would have to say vanilla, because vanilla is a base and you can put strawberries or huckleberries or anything you want in it. So I probably actually would go with vanilla. But when I'm thinking of having all the flavors available,
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
almond fudge is a pretty good one.
Coffee almond fudge. And I'm actually going to even ask, is that something that is common local where you are? Because that seems like a very, very interesting combo.
In Swan's Ice Cream, based out of Minnesota, they come to your house with a little yellow truck.
They sure do.
They make an amazing coffee almond fudge. We used to buy from Swan's years ago. It's expensive, but it's a treat.
That's definitely a good treat. I know my uncle used to have them all the time as well. And, you know, down around here, I haven't seen the trucks, but I'm sure they're still around doing their thing. And
Oh,
yeah, it was
yeah.
always good stuff.
Yeah, they're even here in Idaho, way up in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, excellent. Awesome. Well, this has been a real pleasure getting to know you and what you do. And I'm, like I said, I am excited to dig in a little deeper myself and learn more about your company, because that is something that anybody, any nonprofit, and I know a lot of the groups that we work with are nonprofits, and finances is a real deal. Groups are limited by what their resource is, and that being able to do something more or something different, or taking a different look at how they're handling things, can make a world of difference. So I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. And I would welcome you back again. If you have other things you would like to share with us, I definitely would open up that door of opportunity, because there's so many things that we could do to help others. So
you bet.
Thank you so much, Jason, for being here tonight. I look forward to more. And for all of us here with AbilityMKE Now, thank you to Emily Golmer, and for Kurt, and for me. My name is Sue Roskoff, and all of us with AbilityMKE Now, we definitely do thank you.